Tonight, Melbourne on track to reopen early, but the state suffers its deadliest day. Vulnerable newborns forced into isolation in another COVID scare at the Royal Children's Hospital. A court deciding the fate of two rogue Melbourne football fans. The details live. The Premier under pressure as a corruption probe hears explosive new evidence. And AFL trades going down to the wire. 90 minutes left to seal the deals. Full coverage.
Live from Melbourne, 7 News with Peter Mitchell starts now.
Good evening. Melbourne's on track to lift restrictions early, now expected to hit the 80% double dose target on November the 1st. But the fight out of lockdown is coming at a price. We've just recorded the deadliest day of the third wave, and another outbreak at the Royal Children's Hospital has forced dozens of newborns into isolation.
The tiniest of humans, 29 premature babies, potentially exposed to a COVID-positive parent. He was at the Royal Children's Hospital neonatal ward late last week, then tested positive this week.
There have been no transmission to babies as a result of that exposure, which is great.
The second RCH exposure in a week came as 13 Victorian adults with COVID died, our deadliest pandemic day this year.
We will unfortunately see days of significant deaths.
And a 3-day run of case numbers dropping ended with more than 1,500 announced today.
We're very likely to be headed down from here, but it'll be a bit of a bumpy numbers ride.
On current vaccine trends, Victoria is 9 days from ending curfew and reopening salons, hospitality venues and retail. That's the 70% goal. The 80% goal should arrive November 1. Tonight we're at 60.9% of adults being fully vaccinated, up half a point on yesterday.
It is only Wednesday, the week before we're supposed to hit this target. I'm just very pleased to be having to do this tennis match with you, because it's a great problem to have. Like to have had so many people vaccinated so fast is a fantastic outcome.
The latest hospital outbreak has forced a rethink.
Well, that scare could have been averted if rapid testing had been in place.
It'll be in place at the RCH by the end of this week. All visitors except emergency admissions must complete a rapid antigen test on arrival.
This is not foolproof. It won't guarantee that we won't have another exposure, but it helps us minimise the risk of that happening.
Very few babies have caught COVID. Most hospital admissions have been brief to allow closer observation and haven't needed medical treatment. But plenty of other Victorians will need treatment. Days of big case numbers remain before we begin to reopen and join New South Wales in living with the virus.
I think over the course of another year, another 2 years, absolutely everyone will get it as we open up.
Blake Johnson, 7 News.
And there's breaking news tonight on the vaccination drive. Chanel Vella has the details, and Chanel, it's a critical step in vaccinating children.
Well, it certainly is, Mitch. The Therapeutic Goods Administration has taken the next step towards vaccinating children aged 5 to 11. And while full approval for young children could still be weeks away, we are getting closer to protecting some of our youngest Australians. The Chief Health Officer was asked about vaccinating children in this age group today. He said he was hopeful that this move could come soon, especially as children make their staggered return to school. Mitch.
Chanel Vella, thank you. The Delta outbreak is causing havoc in our schools, with more than 30 forced to close across the city. One Year 11 student has revealed she was so sick with the virus that she spent days in a coma and almost died.
I was so scared, I was screaming and I thought I was going to die.
A teenager with a powerful message about catching COVID.
I spent nearly a month in hospital and 15 of those days was in ICU.
I said to the doctor, please, let me talk to her before you do this. And he said it's best that you don't. She is so distressed. And before that call ended, I heard her screaming.
Sailor's lungs quickly filled with so much fluid she could barely breathe. The 17-year-old VCE student spent 9 days in a coma on a ventilator.
I had a tube coming out of my neck. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk. I was scared to sleep again.
Sailor and her 7 family members all caught COVID. But it was the unvaccinated who suffered the most. Sailor wasn't eligible in August when she was struck down with the virus.
She should have been the least at risk because of her age, but she wasn't vaccinated and she almost died.
705 Victorians are currently in hospital with COVID. 146 are in ICU, 98% of them not fully vaccinated. The 17-year-old story highlights the need for younger people to get vaccinated, especially with students making a staggered return to the classroom over the coming weeks. More than 30 Victorian schools are currently closed because of COVID cases.
We want to see schools closed for 24 hours or so rather than the 14 days.
Children 12 and over are now eligible for the vaccine. Sailor wishes she'd been given that chance sooner.
Yeah, I'm just glad to have my mini-me back, so it's awesome.
Melina Saris, 7 News.
And more pop-up vaccine clinics will be appearing in suburban shopping strips, making it even easier to get a vaccination without a booking. Estelle Griepink has the latest from Epping, and Estelle, they're targeting cafes and gyms.
They are, Mitch, along shopping strips in our hotspot suburbs. These clinics will be located indoors and outdoors in places like Broadmeadows, Glenroy and South Morang. Now, one of them opened up today in Epping, and there was a steady uptake of shoppers who came by to get a vaccination. It is hoped that shoppers will feel more comfortable in a familiar area to go and get the jab.
The whole objective is to just make vaccination very accessible for the public. People can walk up and get their vaccination on the spot. So it's a service we're very proud to be involved in.
And Mitch, the pop-up clinics aim to vaccinate a few dozen people every 2 to 3 hours, and I can confirm the service is very quick and simple. I got my second jab here this afternoon. Mitch?
Good on you, Estelle Griepink at Epping. Thank you. Questions are being asked about how COVID has been able to infiltrate 10 Melbourne aged care homes. There are calls for more to be done to protect residents from the virus after hundreds died last year.
A worrying case of deja vu. COVID